Hello, everyone. It's 3 o'clock and it's time for MGA webinar series. And we welcome each and everyone to today's webinar series on the topic, leveraging insight from market research for sustainable business strategies. My name is Alberto BCU Armstrong, and I'll be doing the moderation for today. You are all welcome, and I believe by the end of this session, we are going to have a great insight on market research. Before I go on, I would like to tell you about MGA Consulting Limited, which is the fastest growing management consultant and capacity building firm in Ghana. It is focused on providing ideal solutions combined with deep industry knowledge and expertise. So MGA will be at your service anytime you call on us. Before I move on, I'd like to introduce our guest for today. Before that, we have our host, who is in the person of Mr. Michael Abiu. And then I'd like to tell you a little about Michael Abiu. And he is an accomplished governance expert, trainer, and mentor management consultant and business marketing strategist with over 20 years of professional practice. He is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana and the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria and a chartered marketer of the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK. I would like to say that Michael Abiu was inaugurated today as the president of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana. So a big congratulations to you, Michael Abiu. Michael is currently the president, and he serves on numerous boards, including Telesol Ghana as the board director. Michael, you are welcome. And our guest who will be sharing with us the great insights that we're looking for is Mr. Isaac Guma. And he's a management consultant and commercial research expert. Over the past 2 decades, Isaac's postgraduate work experience has spanned a broad spectrum of management consulting and commercial research assignments. As CEO of the market research firm Bureau of Markets and Social Research Limited, which offices in Nigeria and in Kenya, Isaac has undertaken more than 600 management consulting projects. Isaac is a chartered marketer who has carried out innovations and route-to-market research for many blue-chip companies and SMEs across many sectors. He has executed different consulting projects for multinational brands across Ghana, Guinea Conakry, and Nigeria, and helped them grow exceptionally in their respective markets. Some of the big organizations he has consulted for are Samsung C&T, Guinness Ghana Brewery Limited, CFAO, L'Oreal Nutri-Foods Ghana, among others. Mr. Isaac Juma, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Alberta. It's a pleasure.
Okay. We are all ready for you. But before we continue, there are some housekeeping rules that I want all of us to take note and then comply accordingly so that we have a smooth conversation. First of all, please note that this is being streamed on all our social media platforms. That's LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So you can also tell a friend to join us in this conversation. Also, this session will run for exactly 1 hour, including Q&As. So if you have any question, we'll be available. We are ready to answer all these questions. And also feel free to put out your question in the chat and let's be interactive to draw from Mr. Juma, whatever he has for us today. If you're also enjoying the conversation, share your thoughts in the chats or comment section and let us know where you are also joining us from. Before I hand over to Mr. Abiu to take us through, do we have any expectation? Is there anyone who wants to share us the expectation by the end of this interactive session? Do you have any expectation? Let us know so that Mr. Juma can do justice to that. Please raise your hand if you have any expectation. For the sake of time, I would like to hand over to Michael to continue. If you have any expectation, Michael will put it out there so that that will be answered. So over to you, Michael.
Okay, so thank you very much, Alberta, and once again, good afternoon to all of you. This is the third in the series, and today, we are deeply honored because we have my senior uh, and a very experienced person within the field of market research, and I think. Within this week, I was having a conversation with him, and he says that I've spoken a lot about market research now, and I know that the fatigue has set in. But Isaac, some of us have not heard you yet, so you would have to bear with us today because it's exciting, really, having to discuss such an important topic, and I'm looking forward to an exciting conversation between us. Currently, we have, I think, 70 people online here on Zoom, and I'm sure that we're going to have a lot more to join. Market research has been an area within the marketing field and even within business that people have left to experts like you. And I'm hoping that today will serve as a grounds to demystify this whole environment of market research. Now, before we start, I would want to, give you some 3, 5 minutes. Give us your opening thoughts. What our appetite as to what we should expect.
Well, Michael, once again, thanks so much for the opportunity. It's always a delight to speak on your platforms. Um, I'm looking forward to the National Sales Leaders Conference later this year. It
Yeah.
will be in August, right?
Yes, I guess from 19th to
Yes,
20th.
yes. I remember last year I spoke on market research
Mm,
as applies to the sales
mm,
industry. And I look forward to engaging attendees for this year's conference as well.
yeah.
But coming back to our webinar today, the thing about this market research industry, Michael, is that if you take Ghana, if I'm not mistaken, the industry has been around for like 4 decades. You know, my business alone is 16 years in Ghana,
Mm,
and the industry has been around for 4 decades. And yet it surprises me so much when I go into some business circles. I even speak to some graduates, and they don't know that we have the industry here in Ghana. You
mm,
know, it comes as a bit of a shock to me. And um, it's also surprising because, like I said earlier to you, I've been on quite a number of platforms. I've been on radio talking about market research and all that. So as part of our agenda, corporate agenda for the past 2 years, we made it a point that look, when these things come up, although I'm tired talking about it, when these opportunities come up, I will jump onto them and then make sure that I engage with people who, particularly people who don't know that, uh, we have the industry is thriving. We are supporting quite a number of people in Ghana. The biggest irony I've seen over the past 16 years running MSR, the Bureau of Market and Social Research, is that the multinationals, the big companies, blue chip companies that actually have the muzzle to push their products and services through to consumers, either through the distribution chains or through uh, hardcore advertising and all that. The irony is that they are the ones who are coming to us for market research. You know, they are the ones who they're going to put a biscuit product out there, will come in and test the parameters, the taste parameters of that biscuit product before, I can bet my bottom dollar that, what, most of you on here, some of the biscuit product that you are currently taking, MSR may have tested it with 200, 300 Ghanaian consumers in the lead up to those products getting to your shops and then to your homes. Okay. Unfortunately, the smaller companies and the mid-tier companies that should be doing market research, because they don't have the muzzle, the money to do the fancy advertising, the fancy branding, the distribution, whatever, they are the ones who are not coming to see us. And it is leading to this vicious cycle where, you know, you have young people who come up with very innovative ideas. They don't test the ideas. They don't test the things that will drive the products and the services around the ideas that they have. They go to market, they flop, and then, you know, it's money gone down the drain. You know, chances are that for this particular webinar, some of the people joining are people who are contemplating getting into entrepreneurship. They're running startups, they're running small businesses, or they're doing marketing for small businesses. Um, Hopefully we'll have that kind of conversation that would excite them enough to begin to want to reach out to companies like mine, to go online and then see what you know, market research is being done here in Ghana, and to see how we can support them grow their businesses. You know, so I'm looking forward to a very exciting conversation.
Well, thank you very much, and indeed, an exciting conversation, because sometimes the way we have set the foundation is a bit negative in terms of showing what we ought to do and what we are not doing within the whole environment of market research. But for those who want to learn and understand this, what would you say market research is? And how do we use market research as a tool for what we are looking at in setting business strategy? You are muted, Isaac. Yeah.
Yes, so I definitely don't want to do any technical stuff on this webinar. I want to bring things down, you know, to brass tacks. Okay. Now, so if you're running the average business, there are a number of tactical things that you normally do. Okay. And market research starts from those tactical things. Um, Product development. So you've come up, you have this fruit juice recipe. A few members of your family have said, "Oh, you're onto a good thing," you know. But you just can't say that because you are okay with the recipe and your a few family members are okay with the recipe.
The
You're
market
jumping
is
to
okay.
market.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I was just completing the sentence for you. That
Yes,
sometimes we
yes.
think that once the thing is good, my wife said it was good, my auntie said it was good. It means it's good. Let me go out there and
Let me go to the market. You know, so right from the product development, your
yeah.
value proposition, it could be a
Mm,
service. You could be the campaign manager for a political party.
mm,
Right from get go, whatever proposition that you want to commercialize, you want to take to a group of people, you understand, especially when it's a mass market. It's not just, you know, 500 people in Accra, but, you know, a greater number of the people in Accra, across cities in Ghana. You need to be able to go to those consumers and then get an understanding of what the drivers of preference, for example, are. Okay. I was talking to a friend the other day. He's also a businessman. I told him that, we see, one of the benefits of market research is that it is not only the preference, the consumer preferences, that we will be able to get for you when we go talk to them. What we are also able to help you with respect to product development is even the prioritization of the things that should go into your value proposition, or at least how you should roll out the features across time.
yeah.
Okay? Because remember, the value proposition comes with a cost.
Mm,
So if in that same research that we are doing for you, we have determined that the food juice that you want to put to market, the maximum the consumers would want to pay is 10 cedis. And then you're packing on layers
no,
of
no,
various things.
Isaac,
Yes, go on.
just
Yes,
a small reminder. Since you
yes,
said you break it down, you see,
yes.
some of us, like, I understand value proposition, but for the next person, value proposition is a whole another concept on its own,
I,
and
I, I,
therefore,
I,
if we can use
I've noted
like
that.
what you
I've
was told the
noted that.
people, some form for English, so that we run away from those who are not marketing friendly.
Okay.
They will leave us, yes.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
whatever it is, the 10 cedis is the maximum that the consumer would want to buy your fruit juice at. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
But maybe because of a fortificant that you have added to the fruit juice, maybe because of the packaging type
So
that
when you
you've
said
used.
fortificat, let me say it in our language, like some ingredients, some chemicals, D1, D2, vitamin, something, something. That's what you're referring to.
Vitamin something something.
Yeah.
Vitamin something something
Okay.
that you have added to
Just
the
to bring
product.
it down to our level. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yes. So what you've done
Mhm.
spills the price over 10 cities.
Mm,
But the market research will tell you that, look, of the things that will drive the preference
mm.
on the consumer side,
Yeah.
this particular thing is at the very bottom.
Yeah.
So if it is adding 4 cities to your pricing, you can take it off and then come to 8 cities
Mm,
as your cost and be able to make a 2 city margin.
yeah.
Now, another way to look at it is this. If you are not going to the consumers for this kind of insight, but
Yeah.
a number of your competitors are doing that, then what it means is that consistently, your competitors will be ahead of you, and then it will create problems. Okay, so definitely product development is one. Your pricing strategy. Okay, how you build up. I've just talked about that. How you build up on your pricing. Promotion. Okay, how you promote your product. There are a number of adverts that you may have seen on TV, and you don't know that the companies behind those adverts actually came to us and asked us to test it with a number of Ghanaian consumers. Okay.
Mm,
Tigo is not around anymore, so I can use Tigo as an example. There were a number of times that Tigo put out adverts, and some of the adverts were ones that we tested for them. So, for example, if there is a phrase in the any words or whatever that is being used in the advertising that is
mm,
off, the consumers will tell the company before they put it. If there isn't anything that you know makes sense to the consumer. Now, Michael has put me on the spot. Every time I have to think about how to. Anyway, so we help them look at various dimensions of the adverts that they're going to put out. It could even be a billboard, and yet they come to us to test whether those billboards will work with consumers.
mm,
Then take even distribution.
mm,
You see, the thing about distribution right now is that if, for example, you're able to use a e-commerce platform,
mm.
okay,
Yeah.
obviously you cut away the cost of having a physical shop,
Mm,
okay, but for the particular type of product that you want to put out, have you been able to confirm with consumers that one, they actually go on social media to buy from there, and then two, they associate credibility with buying those particular or that particular type of product from an
mm,
online platform? You don't know this. So the real challenge, Michael, that the small companies, mid tier companies begin to have is that when the products begin to fail on the markets,
yeah.
because they haven't done all these types of market research that I just talked about,
Mm,
they don't know where the problem is coming from. And 16 years of doing this, what I've realized is that for most of them, they end up rather tweaking the things that are right and leaving the things
I
that
suppose.
are wrong. You see,
Yeah.
that is what happens to you when you don't do enough market research or you don't do it at all. Let me let you come in here because you're
Yeah.
having a conversation. You come in
No,
and
no,
then
because
I,
I'm really taking notes
yeah.
and generally looking at the angles in which you are coming from. That when we are talking about market research, we're really talking about decision making for the organization, and the ability to be able to take the right decisions. And you raised some four key issues that I noted here. For instance, decisions on product development, decisions on pricing, decisions on promotions, and decisions on distribution. You cannot just make it. And a lot of organizations are running around basically doing guesswork trying to see if it would work. And sometimes also they have ended up spending millions in capex, capital expenditure to set up services and products, only to find out that maybe the target audience is wrong, or the product is wrong, or the pricing is wrong, or even the way it is being distributed is wrong. Now, today I met with the Minister for Education, and in his remarks, there was one of the things he said that, you know what, marketing is good. You marketers, you are, and even when we are going to elections, we come, for you. And so, but I'm hearing service, I'm hearing product. And maybe some of us might think that, okay, this type of product or service environment is not good, or doesn't refer to us. So I just wanted to understand in which industries, in which sectors is market research, important? Even in politics, is it important? In church growth, is it important? Or it's important for some specific sectors?
Very, very, very important question from you, Michael. So what it is that the sector doesn't even matter. In fact, market research is for everything.
Mm.
There was a time I did some small counseling. Me that I'm a young man, I said I was going to do counseling for some couples. And I
Yes.
tell them that, look, because of where I'm coming from, I will always tell them to do market research on the women and the men that they marry. Or
Okay.
Michael, don't you agree?
No, that's the beginning of everything. And sometimes it is this type of market research that even makes us set who we want as a husband or a wife. Because mostly we all go with the criteria of who, for instance, the men will say marriageable materialist, and then and then the woman also. And it is all out of, what you go to the market to see, that people like yourself are able to assess and have, and what is out there. And so, yes, I agree with you.
And for me, it is the analogy. I mean, we don't have time on this. We just have for our discussion, we have 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have run through that particular analogy as a way of showing people that, look, as long as you buy into the concept of um, customer orientation,
Mm.
okay, whatever I am doing, if I put the other person first, okay, if I
Mhm.
put the other person first, it could be in even church. There are instances where I've done church marketing to a group of
Yes.
people, and I've roped in market research.
Mm.
If you're going out to do evangelism,
Yeah.
okay, and you are even talking to somebody as
Yes.
an evangelist or whatever, the process you go through before you begin to advance your thinking on Christianity and everything is market research. You ask the person, okay, oh, are you single? Are you
Even
living with
identifying
your
where you can get your members, where you can get the sinners to preach to, it's all market research.
it's market research. So as long as you begin to buy into the philosophy that everything that you want to do and the process achieve a certain outcome, you're putting the other person first, the customer.
Mm.
And I use the word customer in a very loose sense.
Mm.
We, the citizens, can be a customer of a political party.
Mm.
Okay. Immediately you say that I'm putting that person first, then market research becomes imperative,
I hope the
becomes important.
politicians are here to put us
Oh, I mean, in the
business
in the lead up to
perspective.
the elections, I had
Some
political
interactions.
parties.
Myself,
Yes,
they come to us
yes,
when they are in effect, when they
you
want to
understand.
really understand the
But
market. Yeah.
that doesn't mean
Hmm.
they understand that they have political experience.
Yes.
But then the people that you're dealing with, the marketplace of politics evolves.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
changes every time.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So now we say we have Gen Zs.
Mm.
They need to understand the thinking of the Gen Zs.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So if I'm here, if I'm listening to you now, what do I stand to lose if I don't engage in market research? You know.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. Let me answer this by giving you examples. Okay. So a couple of years back, there was this big biscuit. I won't mention their names because of confidentiality. It's a big biscuit, and chances are that most of your listeners have eaten their biscuits
Yeah.
or taken their biscuits. So they had a biscuit product brand that was doing very well in other markets. Okay, in fact, in the Asian market, in Asia, they love garlic, right? You know that
Yes.
they love garlic. So this was supposed to be a biscuit that had onion, an
Mm.
onion flavor.
Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, with onions, when you bake it to a certain level, the smell and the taste becomes like garlic.
Mm.
So in the lead up to coming to bringing the product to Ghana,
Mm.
somebody said, you know what, we use MSR for our tests, our
Mm.
product tests. Go to them, let them test it with consumers before we go ahead,
Mm.
and then set up a whole production line for the biscuits and then produce.
Yeah.
Now, when they came to us, we did, I think, if I'm not mistaken, about 400 consumers across Accra, Kumasi, and
Mm.
then Takrady.
Mm.
There was almost 90% rejection of the biscuit, which we hadn't seen in previous studies of the sort.
Yeah.
Why was that the case? Most of the respondents, the consumers who came for the research, were like, now biscuit brand amode garlic egumim to
Mm.
wait. What biscuits have you put garlic
Garlic in
in
it.
it? I mean, we don't like garlic, oh. And
Yeah.
it's true. The average Ghanaian does not like garlic, right?
Mm. Yes.
The
Yes,
average Ghanaian says,
we
"Oh,
find it very repulsive.
yes," they say the smell. I don't like
Mm.
the smell in my
Yeah.
mouth and all that.
Mm.
For the very
Mhm.
first time testing products or whatever, there was an overwhelming rejection.
Mm.
Now, I can bet my bottom dollar that if the company had gone ahead to launch this, in terms of the capital expenditure, like you said, they would have spent maybe over maybe 5 million Ghana cedis in the machinery or something close to that. Okay,
Yeah.
aside all the marketing stuff that they would have also had to do.
Yeah.
So just imagine the money that would have gone down the drain if they didn't come to do
The
what
research.
in our
Mm.
circles we call the product test or
Mm.
consumer sensory evaluation.
Yeah.
Just imagine. That is one story. The
Mm.
second story, from my experience once again,
And I get that story to mean that if you overlook market research, you tend to lose a lot more money.
you are definitely going to lose money. Yes,
Oh,
you're definitely going to lose money.
so please
Um,
proceed. Yes. To the second
yes,
one.
the second one.
Mhm.
The second one was he was a smaller business, and he came up with a fantastic concept. Okay, I think it's been so many years now, so it's okay for me to share the idea that he wanted us to do the
Yes.
feasibility study on. So he said he wanted to do a posh carnation,
Now what?
a posh carnation.
A Porsche Carnation, yes.
So an open market concept, but everything is decent. There would even be air conditioning. It will be in an enclosed area. There will be an atrium. Shall I ask for atrium? There, I can't break it down.
So we say a big dome, something to cover the entire market.
Yes, there'll be a transparent dome, and then
Dome, yes.
sunshine will come in.
Yes.
Sunshine will come in and all that, you know. And there'll be air conditioning.
Mm.
If you buy your maize and you want somebody to mill the maize for you, it's all decent, you know. In fact, when he came to me, because I pretend to be that daba, I'm a hustler, but sometimes I pretend to be that daba.
That
So
one is up for debate later.
so I
Uh,
was like, oh, this is a beautiful concept.
yes.
On the face of it, it
Mm.
sounded beautiful.
Very good idea. This one you make a
Very
lot
good
of money.
idea. So even me, I was so optimistic that by the time we come back from the research, there will be a validation of the man's idea and we can prepare for market entry.
Mm.
But Michael, just imagine what happened. The data came back and there was an overwhelming, in this particular case, there was an overwhelming rejection.
Mm.
And the good thing was that we did both a survey and then focus groups. Okay. So this so-called middle class people that the man was targeting, most of them were like, I mean, Abubloshi, nah, my mom has been going to Abubloshi and,
A sentimental and
buying,
emotional
I've been
attachment.
buying yam from there. I'm not, at the back of their minds, what the real problem was that immediately you begin to push up those things, buying the yam, buying food stuff from medicine, the price will be too much for them.
Yeah.
And this is from middle class.
Mm.
Most of us were shocked. So even the man said, "Oh, Isaac, you know what? Can we do a second round of research just to, because he was so confident, you know?" And
Yeah.
then we did a second round of this. And in fact, that second round, I think the negative listen was even more.
Well, yeah.
You understand? Because he made us expand the target group,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
So where I sit here in my
Yeah.
small corner at
Mm.
Hacho in Accra,
Mm.
I see evidence of market research saving people a lot of money,
Mm.
a lot of money.
But,
You know,
let's link
uh,
this whole environment of market research to developing business strategies. What is the link? How do we connect market research? Because usually, God reveals to us usually as to where our businesses must go. Comes out of inspiration. Some of us that have very powerful prophets have directions as to, and then there are some of us who have feelings, as to how their business direction should go. And mostly these things have fed into strategies. I want to understand, why should we depart from this age-old feeling that has been right for us? And you have some of the old businessmen saying that that is what I did to take off my children. And now you want them to, connect with market research. How do we connect the two? What is the linkage?
a favorite verse in Proverbs. It says, "It is the Lord who gives wisdom, and from Him comes knowledge and understanding."
Hmm.
But it didn't say that verse didn't say that God gives data.
At that time, data was not there.
Okay, so
So
Mike,
I want us to link market
Mhm.
research and
To
how
strategy.
we can use it to develop sustainable business strategies.
Yes. You see, the issue of sustainable business strategy is not in the one instance of market research.
Yeah.
It is the mentality that you have that one, the consumer is at the heart of everything that I do. And we have a business environment now where, because of so many things, including the fact that our market is linked to other markets,
Yeah.
the marketplace is constantly evolving.
Mm.
So the mindset that because the marketplace is evolving, is then linked to the need to have the research on an ongoing basis,
Interesting.
not as a one-off.
Interesting.
Okay. Yes, you need to have it on
Because
an.
I was actually coming to address that. Let me add it as you are answering it, since you brought it up. And
Yeah.
it's this environment where, okay, 10 years ago I started MGA Consulting. I did the market research. Research was good, indications was good. We've made money, we've grown. Do I need another one?
Do you need a one?
Another market research? I've done it 10 years ago.
Okay, so
So
this
I
is
just
how it
want
works.
you to tie the two in as you answer, since you brought it up.
So there in business, there's something we call satisficing.
Mm.
Okay, satisficing, which is that you get to a point where you are making a certain amount of money and you are happy. You don't
Mm.
want to grow anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have that kind of mentality, maybe you can say, now if you have a different kind of mindset, which is that, look, the same way there were management consulting firms,
Mm.
and then I came in with a certain attitude, with a
Yeah.
certain package, and I
Mm.
was able to steal market share from the the KPMGs, the
Deloitte.
smaller management. Listen, it's the same way a younger person with also with energy and whatever will come into your industry and take business away
I
from
hope
you.
you're not saying I'm too old, but anyway.
Oh no. In this particular case, I'm not using you in particular. I'm just
Okay,
using
yeah,
the case.
generally, yes.
All right. So if
Mhm,
you have that mindset that
mhm.
the marketplace can continuously evolve,
Yeah.
then the whole idea of doing the market research on an ongoing basis is to
Mhm,
predict the future. Is to help you predict the future well.
mhm,
Okay. So sometimes somebody would say in consulting like with me like this, it
mhm,
was the reason why I went to Nigeria, and
mhm,
then I've also gone to what's it called, Kenya and all that. Sometimes you would say that look, the Ghana market can become so funny that if you do not have footprints elsewhere, it
mhm.
becomes difficult to sustain yourself.
Mhm,
Or two, you can say that to be able to win some of the Ghana businesses, you
mhm,
must demonstrate a certain footprint across the nation. It is what in market research we call market intelligence data that will let you know. So, for example, if you're doing the market intelligence data for your industry, you will be able to say that look, of the money that came to the consulting industry, um, 40% was from Pan African consulting work.
yeah.
30% came from clients who are from outside of Ghana.
Mhm,
20% came from government of Ghana. You'll be able to do that breakdown. That will then feed into your strategy, saying
mhm,
that look, we see a trend where now the money coming into our industry is coming from this group of people. I even need to recruit someone who has the expertise in dealing with that particular.
this type of people or dealing in that industry and possibly focus on that.
Exactly,
Mhm,
exactly. You see what I mean? So,
yeah,
it is all linked. It is
yeah.
all linked. The bit about the strategy it goes back to the product development, whatever. I
Mhm,
intentionally mentioned those things because
mhm.
obviously you link the insights from the product development to your actual the product development research to the actual product development.
Okay.
You whatever you do on the pricing research, it fits into your pricing strategy. You
Okay.
know,
So let
so
me
as for that
let me announce.
question, we've dealt with it already.
Yes, let me announce this to everybody listening that you can send in your questions now. If you have any question you want me to raise with Isaac, you can send it as we continue this discussion. There's one question, Isaac, that one of our participants, Bernard Asante, has brought in, and his question is, quite interesting. And I think it follows from one of the examples you gave. He's saying that is it possible to still launch a product even if your market research gives you a negative result? And then rather embark on a product sensitization and product awareness campaign to turn the results which were negative into a positive one. Basically, move the problem from market research to market for marketing people. But is it possible that one can do that? Although the numbers are bad, let's still go ahead and let's get marketing to push it.
I don't know whether it was you and I who had this discussion or somebody else, but
Yeah,
we always make this point in marketing that Ghanaians like novelty.
yeah,
Uh, if I tell you the number of some of the malls right now, you go to the malls and you're like, this mall when they opened the first 6 months, and then
yeah,
when you come, you won't even get space here. Oh.
yeah,
Now you go to those malls and then it's like a ghost town.
yeah.
Most people don't know. If you take even Accra Mall, most people don't have the figures, the actual figures.
Mm,
I'm telling you, people are in debt. There are people there in the shops who are in debt.
yeah.
And
We
you
see
know,
them closing every day, new one coming,
oh,
they
I'm
shut
telling
it
you,
down, another one coming. And sometimes it
I'm
looks like
telling you,
only the foreign entities are the only ones thriving within that environment.
in Ghana, a lot of things are a facade. Like,
Mm.
you know, things are not what they are. So if you're not careful, you'll say, but I know this guy. I don't think he's doing any market research. And his business is doing well. You know, you don't know the deals behind the deals.
No, no, but so what should he do? Is it okay
No, no,
to
no, no.
go ahead?
It is never okay. The
Mm.
reason is that for even services,
Yeah,
have the time, there's a certain investment that you make
yeah,
that if the campaign, the marketing campaign that he's talking about, if it doesn't work, you are not able to rope to get back the capital expenditure.
yeah,
You see what I mean?
yeah.
And in every business, there's something we call return on ROI.
Mm.
It takes quite a bit of time.
Yeah, to be
So
able to
even
get
if you
that
do,
over.
sorry,
To gain the ROI.
yes.
Mm.
So even if you put in market sensitization and whatever, and you get activity for 6 months, sometimes those 6 months is still not enough to pay back
Yeah.
your investment.
But another interesting question also from Patrick Sharma,
Mhm.
and today I like the way people are thinking,
Okay.
because Patrick is saying this, right? And this is a follow-up
Mhm.
to what we are just answering for Bernard. And when you finish this, I'll bring my thoughts also on Bernard's question. And it is and Patrick is saying that is it possible to have a negative turnout after you have done a market research which has shown positive customer acceptability?
Oh, I think I mentioned that in passing
Mm.
that obviously you can't do all the market research in the world before you roll out. That is
Mm.
correct, right?
Yes.
You can't do all the market research in the world.
Yeah.
So where the market research becomes useful is that even after you've done it and you've gone to market and your product or service is not doing well,
Mhm.
then you are able to rule out a number of factors. Okay.
Hello, we're having feedback. David, please let's mute them immediately. They come online. Malik, we're having feedback. David, please mute. Hello, David. Yes, Isaac, please continue. Apologies.
So in his question, he says negative turnout on product and revenue, even
Mm.
though the MR was positive.
Yes.
The MR here cannot be market research on everything.
Mhm.
Chances are that he may have done the market research on specific things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or even if he tried to do it across board,
So for
it
instance,
would. Mhm.
they did it on the product,
Yes.
but the products was good, but
Mhm.
when it comes to the route to market, it was bad.
So what I'm saying is that
Mm.
when you have at least some of the market research data, especially on products, then you know that look, the challenges that I'm having, it's definitely not a product problem. I tested my product with 200, a
Yes.
minimum of 200 Ghanaians, and they gave me a pass. They gave me specific instruction on how to improve it. People said, "Can you reduce the sugar level?" Somebody said, "Can you make it thicker?" You know,
Mm.
I have included all this in the final product.
Mm.
So if it is not doing well on the market, at
Mm.
least you get to rule out product issues and begin to focus on even the branding, marketing, communication, and
Okay.
so on and so forth. Okay.
There's a comment from YouTube, and that is from Akosia Owusia, reaching us on YouTube. And Akosia says that market research is good, but as small businesses in Ghana, where at all does one start from as a small business? It practically doesn't exist. When we identify an opportunity, we go ahead, produce, and sell. And that is Akosia's position on it. But critical to that is where where do they start? And I want you to briefly look at it because I have a comment also from, I think, Ajua Nimako, just to tie into what Akosua Wusua is saying. Maybe the ladies are thinking the same. And Akosua is saying that, can small businesses afford your charges, please? So where do they start? And sometimes can small businesses survive? Well, if they come to you, even scraping your hair alone can be very expensive.
I,
Yeah.
I was actually expecting the cost question.
And let me add to them, can we also have some few structures which will look at do-it-yourself type of market research, where small businesses can have pointers and then they can be able to conduct these market researches themselves?
So for me, I mean, I don't know about other agencies. For me, when
Mm.
you come to me as a small business,
Yeah.
there are aspects of the initial conversations that nobody charges you for anything. You
Mm.
know, the example that I gave to you about the man who wanted to do the posh markets.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we got off very well. We became friends and all that. He will
Mm.
come. So in the lead up to the research itself, we had shared information. I've given him advice based on my market research experience and all that,
Yeah.
and it was all for free.
Mm.
It was all for free. At some point, I think was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, SNV.
Yes.
I would like your participants, those who are running small businesses, to check
Yeah.
them out on the internet. SNV. They paid for us to do 12 market research projects,
Yes.
cosmetics industry, food and beverage industry, I think,
Mm.
whatever. And basically, what they were doing is that they were sharing those market research reports with incubatees. I mean,
The small
the
businesses.
small companies that they were, giving
Supporting.
support to.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm.
so they act as an incubator. They help small businesses grow. They give them business advisory support and all that. So they paid us to do the research, and then they gave the research findings to those small businesses.
Mm.
I don't know whether they currently make the
Have a
report
project
available
schedule.
to
Mm.
companies that were not within their this formally.
Mm.
But please reach out to them. There's another uh, um, Mess. I don't know whether you guys know them.
Yeah, must.
They do,
Mm.
yes, in East Legon.
Yes.
The small businesses that are in the tech domain,
Yes.
technology domain. They also try to accelerate
Yeah.
the pace of growth for those
Yeah,
businesses.
no, but let me help you with this, and this is
Okay.
to my ladies. One of the things is that it's always advisable reach out to a consultant, reach out to somebody who understands the environment. There has been several times where I have engaged with small businesses, and obviously sometimes our pricing might be higher than them, but yet still I have provided very key inputs into their work where we have a conversation with you, we give you pointers. We're all operating on this market and we don't make our money from everybody. And so sometimes it's just important that just reach out, understand what the person can do for you. I've had the case of an IT firm that came to me and I said, you know what? These are my charges. I presume that you will not be able to. And the client says, no, I can't be able to afford it. I said, okay, I've met with you. You look like a good guy. You're on a good road. It's a good product. I would want to take the walk with you. So let's not talk about consultancy, but let me open myself up to you where you can come in and ask any questions, get directions. And sometimes also we can actually give you information, on do it yourself basis. So basically we give you the information, go and you get it sorted out and you get it looked at. Because generally also because you're a small business, your scope is really not also big. But I have George Entry, who also has a question, which I think if we can quickly look at it, it will be good. And George Entry says that what are the key indicators your market research should usually cover? If you're looking at the market research, what are the key indicators that it should cover?
Oh, as for the key indicators, it is really your sector. The sector matters a lot. But then again, there was a reason why when we started out, I talked about the product development because it is at the very heart of your transaction with the next person. Okay. The first port of call is the product or the service. So you need to understand what matters to the consumer when it comes to the product.
So,
Now,
so
even
here you're
that
talking about the product features, the attributes, the benefits of the
very good.
product. Yes, okay.
Yes, yes. But you need to look at it at two levels. Okay. Remember, if whatever you are putting out there is not in a monopoly, you are not enjoying a monopoly. There are competitors out there. Then the competitors are also shaping the consumers' minds as to the expectation they should have on that particular product
Product
category.
or service,
Let
yes.
me let me break it down.
No, just
When we
that we're
take
also not doing well with time.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
So
Bottom line is that start with the products.
products.
Okay,
And I think
any
earlier we
product
spoke
research.
about, for instance, pricing.
Yes, but the product is linked to the pricing. I
Okay.
think I mentioned that as well.
Mm-hmm.
That how much more you pack onto a particular product in
Yeah.
terms of even packaging, in terms of whether you want to add this little thing here and or it all adds up to the. So start with the product or service research, and then once you get that, once you also understand how your product stacks up with the competition, you can subsequently do other types of research.
Okay. So, for instance, we have Malik. You are giving us feedback, Malik. So, for instance, there's one Shade Moses that said that which things should one look out for when trying to establish a particular business? And I think it's in line with what we are just discussing. But I think he has a particular example, which he says dresses. So, for instance, if I want to go into the sale of dresses, what should I look at? He's a bit more specific, to that. And if we can give him some quick inputs, that would be good.
Okay. So if you had come to me, for example, you didn't mention what type of dresses. Is it for men or for women?
I know generally, assuming that he's doing a unisex salon, what are some of the things he should look out for?
Very good. So even if I use myself as an example, there was a time that when it comes to my kaftans, okay,
Yeah.
there was a Nigerian shop that did ready-made,
Yes.
ready-made kaftans, and
Yes.
for some reason, those kaftans, tended to fit better than when I go to a tailor. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So sometimes even understanding, the preferences. If for example, you come to me and say, "Oh, Mr. Juma, when it comes to kaftans, do you like ready-made? Do you like your whatever?" And I said, "Oh, I'm open to what's it called? The ones that are already done, and then I can just
Yeah.
whatever." It helps you make decisions about your capacity. Okay.
And even
You,
understanding what fashion is in vogue, what type of materials you
yes,
must, and then do you need to
yes.
stock or not to stock?
Because Michael, listen to this one.
Yes.
When you understand, the issue of whether, for example, I would like to go with the ready-made or whatever, you can set up a bigger shop, okay, that produces at a bigger scale. The advantage here is that when you begin to do that, then you have a price advantage that you can then begin to use to win over your competitors. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So even for a dressmaker, a fashion design person, there's so much. Unless maybe you are very content with just serving your church and your a small local community, we have Nigerians who are selling kaftans to Ghana.
Yeah,
Surprising.
I did a work for GIZ some time back, and we were looking at
Mhm.
data collection and market research and analysis, and we said
Yeah.
that you know what, we wanted people to over a period do a simple Google form, send it to people that they have worked for, and there's this seamstress or a fashion designer, female fashion designer that was part of it, and send it to the customers that you have. And then when the data came, sometimes Google Forms can actually do some quick analysis for you. So on the pie chart, when we looked at the age group, she herself was like taken aback that
Mhm.
all the
Mhm.
people that she was sewing for, majority, over 80% of the people who responded that were happy with the service were over the age of 50 years. So clearly,
Wow.
we were telling her that I was telling her that let me show something. Your data shows that people over 50 appreciate the way you sew and how you sew it. And this is the person who's selling these things premium. So her charges is not the usual market charges. So it's like a fashion person. And then there's these additions to it. So yes, it is important, but we should be able to understand this. Time is far, 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 far spent. There's
Yes,
one question
Michael.
here, which is
Michael,
like a PhD question.
because
Let me
of the
bring it in.
time, I want to make a very, very important point. Okay,
Okay.
if you can allow me.
Yes, please. Yes, please go on.
Okay. Now, the reason why we are getting quite a bit of questions on, market research, is it expensive and all that, is because they haven't engaged with the industry.
Mm,
If you come to me pro bono, even without this, I would advise you as a small business on even market research that you can do internally. I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all because I
mm,
believe that when you start building that, this thing for evidence, eventually there will be bigger things that I will be roped in. You see, internally, there are very creative ways of doing market research, and a
mm,
lot of Ghanaian companies are not jumping onto that. Let
mm,
me just give you one example, okay, because of time.
mm,
There's something we call location intelligence.
mm,
Can you believe that in Ghana now we have so many food companies
mm,
that are selling their food via uh, platforms, WhatsApp and
yes,
whatever?
mm,
Then, like, let's say Rocks Watching,
yes,
you understand? Then, but when they do the delivery,
yeah,
they forget to take the GPS, or with the permission of the customer, of course, to use the GPS to do a tracking of where the orders are coming from. If you do a heat map of where the orders are coming from using what in market research, we call location intelligence,
mm,
it will help you decide on where to open your next
that
branch.
means, yes,
If you have Alaji's wife, I'm a watching fan. So
mm,
you see that, okay, they are Spintex. The next time you see that they are East Legon or whatever. But
mm,
they are doing this only based on, what I am saying is that you can actually capture this when they send you the link by
mm,
WhatsApp where I am located. You can put all these things in a software and generate a heat map of where your demand is coming from.
mm.
And that alone can lead to a whole lot of strategy, especially competitive strategy. The next time we have some listen, we will
Yeah.
talk more about
No, we would have a next time, and
it.
and it's quite interesting, and I think that I'm going to take this up with my team that is organizing this because it seems that week on week we are unable to exhaust. The time looks short. And so,
Hmm.
if my team, you are listening, we need to look at them more because I'm having a lot of questions, and I would want to apologize to Kofi Abua, Frederick Ajay, Abdullah Musa, Adjoani Makon, and we are having feedbacks. And as I'm trying to end, we have David Forsen, who has brought a long, here. I would have really wished that we addressed these issues. But our promise was for us to use 1 hour, and we are already exceeding that 1 hour. However, just like every week, what I want us to do is not for us to finish this discussion here. For all of you online, we will be sending you the link to our WhatsApp channel. We'll send you the link to our WhatsApp channel, and then we would want to continue there. Isaac Juma, I'm hoping that he will join us there, and so that we can answer some of the questions that come up. Just that our time has run out, but there's a lot of questions that are coming through within the environment of market research. I know also that I've seen some comments about you wanting the number of Mr. Isaac Juma. So Isaac, you mentioned it now, but we will send it also via text message and then our platforms to everybody that registered and is a member and it's part of today's session. We'll send your details to them, but just I've seen that your email address is here. I don't know if you want to give the number or you just want to wait and stop at email. Otherwise, they will call you at night. Okay, thank you very much. So thank you very much. The number is there. Please reach out to Isaac. If you know me and you think I'm good, Isaac was there long before I started, and is quite very experienced. Another thing also is that I'm just hoping, and I know that Isaac will respond to our call and will be at the National Sales Leaders Conference this year. If you have not registered, please do register. I'm hoping I can get him there, and we're going to continue this conversation because market research, I've always said AI and all these things are important, but we need to get the basics right. And the basics are the environment of market research, sales capacity building, sales leadership, branding, advertising. These are key issues that I think that we need to concentrate on. And the National Sales Leaders Conference this year, we'll be looking at a lot more topics. If you have not registered, please do get your team members. This year also, it's going to be a very controlled team. Last year, we had an overflow. So this year, we are controlling the numbers. And so some specific topics will be closed, just 210 participants are what we'll be looking at. So if you have not, please try and get into shape. David, we will send you also our links to our WhatsApp channel. Please follow the link, get to the WhatsApp channel. Let's continue these conversations. We will put this video
Michael,
on our WhatsApp channel. Yes, Isaac.
not to interrupt you,
Okay.
because you are on a roll. Let me also do a little favor,
Yes.
and then also a little listening to your audience.
Yes.
I see that there were about 100.
Yes.
So,
No, there are
as
some
a
also on
small,
YouTube and the other channels.
very good. As a small reward, what I'll do is that look, um, if you come to us, those on the call, if you come to MSR for any research, I can vouch for you that there will at least 20% on our existing rates. We'll do that for you,
That
and
is
then
good. That is
also
good. That is
and then
good.
also you can reach out to me on WhatsApp.
Mm,
I don't mind sharing ideas with you.
mm,
The questions that we have not been able to answer, you
mm,
can text me directly on WhatsApp.
mm,
I will either use a voice note or whatever to give you
mm,
some answers. So
mm.
this is my small bonus to your
Okay.
audience. Yeah.
Isaac, I'll provide the contact details of everybody that's joined today.
Yes, please
I'm sure a
do.
lot of them would like to take up this 20% discount. It doesn't come easy like that from us consultants. They say we like money too
Yes.
much. Yes, but it's only on this platform. So if you don't come back next month, you are missing out. A lot of knowledge to be shared. The video, like I was saying, would be on the WhatsApp channel. You can watch it. It's also on the various social media pages. It's for us, it's very simple. MGA Consult GH. MGA Consult GH on all social media handles and follow us. You'll get the image when you go to our YouTube page, the MGA Consulting YouTube page. You would get this video, but we would also send it to each and every one of you. Isaac, thank you very much for your time. We spent a lot of time. Let me quickly hand over to the moderator to finish us off. And God bless you, my brother. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mike and team.
So Alberta, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael and Isaac. It has been a wonderful session. It is only MGA dialogue series where you have freebies like we have here, like Mr. Guma giving 20% of anyone who will contact him, and then NSLC so given its early bird ticket for 1,005 Ghana cedis. You can't get this anywhere but here with MGA Consultant Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you so much for joining today's discussion. It has been very interesting. And always you realize that when you meet with Mr. Juma, there's always key takeaways that will benefit you as a person and then your organization as well. Today, he has made us know that market research is something that we cannot take out from our lives, whether work or church or even our personal lives. So we need to take market research very important. And the moment you don't take market research important, you are losing a lot. You lose even more than you would have invested in market research. And I believe moving forward, we are going to have a great and wonderful discussion. So with our next dialogue series, it's going to be on 28th May. And we hope that we will have all of you with us here once again. And it's going to be on the topic leadership in uncertain times, crisis management, and resilience. This is going to help you, and don't miss out. Don't miss out. We all will love to see you here. And also, we thank you once again for being part of us. And then today's discussion has been so wonderful. Kindly join and follow us on all our social media platforms. And if there's any question, if there's any assistance, MGA Consulting will be ready to help you. Thank you once again. Bye. And have a wonderful day.